Welcome to Custom Home Builder Solutions, also known as CHS, a job costing, full accounting, and profit management software for the professional home builder. In this video, we are going to talk about the fact that at different times your home buyers might ask you for how much sales tax you've paid to various vendors, trades, and suppliers for the costs on their job. Sometimes they like to get that for when they're doing their tax return and report how much sales tax they paid via the job costs that you've done on the job. So I'd like to show you how that can be accomplished, and I'm going to start from a purchase order. You don't have to have a purchase order to accomplish this, but I'm going to show how you're starting from a purchase order. I'd like to take a look at my demo job that I've been doing and just at the POs and cost management based on that criteria. And if we go down here to, let's find a purchase order that I happen to know has some different items. I think it's in the 4000 series. It has to do with fireplace box. Here we go. This particular purchase order shows the PO total of $1,500, and it's a purchase order to Holland. That's not the one, I'm sorry. Metal fireplace box materials is what I want. To BMC Help, $1,558.80. You can see that there's been a PO, but we've not posted any costs, and we'll be doing that here in this video so I can show you how it captures the sales tax. But let's go ahead and drill down on this purchase order for a minute. In another videos about POs, etc., we talked about building a PO based on items. Behind the PO, a list of items. So I'm going to click the button for items because I want to show you how, first of all, the program, there was a place for you to enter sales tax when you were selecting items for these various things. In this case, we didn't use these individual items on our PO. We did one big PO for all the materials. We could have used both of these or one of these that explained it better. So let's unattach this one from the PO. This was created because when we did the PO we told it we weren't using items. And then I'm going to delete that item from this just so it's not in here. It was created by the program. And I'm going to use this item because it has a little better description of the item that I needed. Sometimes the items will come in because we did them on the budget. We were comparing some things and looking at them and then choosing certain things for the budget. Notice how this one is check marked that it was on the budget. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this item up to it. But what I'd like to show you is the total was for $1,440 when we set up this item, and the sales tax was for this amount. And if I go ahead and click to update my PO amount to this item, which it already really was because that other item was for the same amount, but then I close this. This PO has captured behind the scenes because of the items. It's captured how much the sales tax is on this purchase order. It knows it because of those items that we just looked at. So I'll close that. And what I'd like to do is this is for BMC and for metal fireplace box, is go ahead and just go enter a bill and attach it to that PO. So I'm going to post payables. I'm going to post a new payables records, and like I've showed you in other videos, you could actually create the bill from the PO, from an open PO's window screen, but I'd also like to demonstrate how you're doing it here. So I'm getting that vendor. It does give me a message that there are open POs for this vendor, and we need to do a job related bill for this particular vendor. And it didn't find that there were any alerts or anything, and we're going to go ahead and let it check mark the PO as done if my posted costs are the same. But first of all, since it said there were POs, I'm going to drop down on the POs for this vendor and look for ones for our job, and I can see this one is for the metal fireplace boxes. So I'm going to select that PO, and then CHS, based on the PO I selected, has filled in a lot of things. It's also dimmed the job and dimmed the cost code because we need our bill to match the PO that we selected, so you can't select something different here. You could always change the invoice date if the invoice date was different, and the due date, give it its own invoice number, put your own description in. But what I'm going to talk about right now is you can see how CHS detected how much was for the unit price, the total without sales tax, how much the sales tax was, and what the total of this is. It's demarking that because when I go ahead and post this bill, it's going to make two lines, one for this amount and another line that's for the tax amount, just so that you can search your database. It's also going to give that second line a cost type of sales tax, and you can search your databases for those records that are just for sales tax. So let me show you how that works. I'm going to go ahead and submit this bill. It's checking for any overages and didn't find any. It's the exact amount of the PO and the budget, I think. And I'll post this bill as unpaid to pay later in a check run. But I'm going to click this button after it says it's been posted to view my posted entries from that bill. And what you'll see is that CHS has created two entries, one entry for the amount without tax and one entry for the amount with tax. It has a description, sales tax 8.25% of this amount, so that's pretty descriptive for some reports on sales tax reports you might like to do. So I'm going to show you, now that this is posted into your accounting database, into accounts payable, how this and some other entries, well, the other thing is that CHS attached a cost type of sales tax to it, which is important for what I'm about to talk about. So if your buyer calls you up and says, I'd like a list of, the sales tax that has been paid for my job costs, you can go to one of two places. First of all, we could go to the actual cost database, and this is for job costs. And you need to use the great big button that gives you all the search features, because we need the special search features for looking for sales tax. So we're going to open the full database of all actual job costs that have been posted, and we'll do some searching after it's open. It might take a few moments, but it can stay displayed on your screen here in a tab, and you could jump back to various things and back to it. But what I'd like to do, let's say it's for our demo job, the buyers for that job, and a lot of times it might be towards the end of the job, so you might have a whole lot more sales tax things than I already have on just this demo job. But I've selected that job, and over here notice that there's a field to search for cost type. It says you can type partial, but I'm just going to go ahead and type sales tax. I probably could type tax or something and get the same thing. But it's going to look for all actual costs for this job that have a cost type of sales tax on it. Notice that the cost type on all these records that are displayed now has the cost type of sales tax. And you can see our particular line. So it's only showing the lines that have to do with sales tax, and it's showing, what the total was right there that this sales tax was paid on. So what you can do is you can print a report, various reports that are based on your search results. Let's do by job and then cost code, so that you can see how you can get this report by cost code, and every one of the records is just for the sales tax, and therefore the total of this report is just for sales tax entries. And you can see the filter down here that it was for that job and for a cost type like sales tax. So you can see how you can get that one that's by cost code. Now if you're interested in getting a report that's actually by the vendor that you paid, you can use the Payables Transactions Vendor Ledgers menu. And that other one was for job costs, so it does it by cost code, but this one will do it by vendor, because these will give you vendor transactions. And I also clicked the big button to open the full database of all vendor transactions in order to do vendor ledgers, so that I can do some specific searching that I want to do of this database. So let's do the same type of search really here. Let's this one, since it's for vendors, has more stuff about vendors on the left, and then your job is over here. And then we'll select that job, and we'll do the same thing, sales tax. We'll submit a search. I think we probably will get the same totals when we do a report, but it would be a vendor ledger of results so that we can see them by vendor. See how this is by vendor rather than by cost code, and it's showing the same thing, that this is a sales tax record and what it's based on, and gives you the total of the sales tax paid and shows you basically the same kind of filter, except this is a vendor ledger, so it's grouped by vendor. So hopefully between those two ways that you could print lists of sales tax that you paid, you can make your home buyers happy by clicking some buttons and quickly giving them a report of the sales tax that you've paid. Back on that, entering the bill, if you don't use purchase orders, and if you just do add new payables record, and let's just use that BMC and play like we're just going to ignore the whole thing about the purchase orders for a minute. But once you open the bill to enter various things, and if you haven't, and you don't select a purchase order, etc., and you're filling in the fields yourself, and you select a job, let's select our Vista View. And this cost code actually dropped in because it's the default cost code for BMC West framing package. But let's pretend that we had some bill and the total of the materials is $10,000. You would then type in the sales tax rate here yourself, because it's not coming from the PO where it knows what the sales tax is from those items on the PO. But by posting this bill, you'd have the same result, as you'd get two records, one for the $10,000 and one for the $825 really, for the sales tax. So anyway, that's how you do it and how you give your home buyers a report of the sales tax paid. CHS is splitting those into records for you so that they're easily searched. Thank you for watching.